Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
Miss Weir, Sergeant McKinnon with the RCMP in 100 Mile. It's about 2 p.m. on Monday, December 28th. Surprise, surprise, but we are getting more complaints about you being non-compliant with your mask, this time at the ski hill. So I wanted to advise you that you will be receiving additional tickets for this, and I'll be over to see you later this week, or I'll be coming up to the ski hill. So.
It's been a lot, and it just kind of keeps compounding the amount of stress that I'm dealing with, and I never thought I would feel so negatively towards the RCMP in my life.
It's becoming all too familiar of a scene in Canada, like some sort of horror version of Groundhog Day, where over and over and over, we see people who clearly state they are exempt from wearing a mask, face discrimination, humiliation, physical attacks, all because someone in a position of power either ignores what's written in BC's public health order or simply cowers to the pressure of fearful citizens begging them to undervalue the constitutional rights that have made Canada one of the greatest and safest countries to live in the world. Now, meet Nicole Weir here. Now, she is one of our latest Fight the Fines cases. She's also a mom and a small business owner of this beautiful salon called the Village Hair Studio, located in a small town in BC called 100 Mile House. Now, during a time when the same small and medium businesses that have employed over 90% of working Canadians pre-COVID-19 restrictions, during the time when they are simply trying to stay afloat and provide food for their families and the families of their employees, Miss Weir is reporting to us an additional stressor that she faces almost daily here by the hands of the 100 Mile RCMP officers, simply because she is exempt from wearing a mask and honors any customer who also has an exemption. Now, I'm going to stop blabbing and let you talk to Nicole here. And I'm also going to try and get the other side of the story from the RCMP officers and bring that to you. All right, Nicole. Well, we took the long drive out here to really give you a voice to what's going on here, because it had my jaw open over the holidays. So first of all, let us know a little bit about the studio, what it means to you and your family, how long you've been doing it.
I've had the salon for 15 years today, officially. Yeah.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. So I've been working here, even longer than that. I bought it off the lady that I worked with, and my kids have grown up in the salon, and, I've provided service to the community for a long time, and I love this town. I love what I do. It's kind of my safe space. I spend more waking hours in the salon than I do in my home or with my family. So it's my home as well. And yeah.
Well, it's no secret that a huge part of the casualties surrounding COVID-19 have been small and medium businesses. But you're also facing another threat to your business. So why don't you start at the beginning of how that has all come into play?
So I guess December 8th was the first day that I had a visit from an RCMP. I had two awfully large RCMP officers come in and noticed that we were currently not wearing masks in the salon. And I informed him, well, I'm exempt, and so is my other stylist, and just happens this client is as well. I said, this won't be the scene every time you come in. Like, sometimes it'll change depending on who is in here. And he said, well, I'm just letting you know that we're taking the soft approach for now. So we're just warning you, like, we will be handing out fines. Public health will be handing out fines like they're candy, he said. So he just said, so that's something that we're going to be watching for. We've had some complaints about you and not wearing masks. So just so that you're aware. So then they left. And then the next day they came back, same two gentlemen, and it just so happened the salon was wearing masks at the time. And they're like, oh, this is good to see. And I said, well, I'm glad that you're here now, because it probably won't be the same later today. And so then he again just said, like, you can face more fines, like you could get shut down, just so you're aware. So he left, and then I phoned him later that day and just asked that he come down when I have time, when I'm not with a client, where we could speak and I could let him know, like, okay, this won't change because I am mask exempt. So is my stylist. So you're going to continue to see us without masks. And he did come down the next day. He met with me and we went over some things. He showed me the stuff that he had from WorkSafe, which is all stuff I've gone over. It's all in my plan. And, I just tried to get us on a place where we had an understanding, and I thought we had done that. I was wrong. So then we were fine for the weekend. And then the following week, I believe it was the 17th. Now I had an interior health man come in. We went through the same spiel. He was young, like probably his first job. I don't know. Didn't seem to be too educated on what like we're allowed and not allowed to do and what the exemptions allow for. However, he came back 2 hours later with an RCMP officer who gave me my first notice to appear. So I have a promise to appear in court for February 2nd under charges that I don't understand. And I still don't.
Well, and that's kind of where we came in. So just so you guys know, sometimes we take on a case that hasn't technically been fined yet because in your case, you were given a promise to appear first, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. And one of the things that is quite interesting on what's written in there is it's not easy to find what's written on there. I had a really tough time looking into that. And I believe the officer kind of touched on that with you. And we have some audio of that, right?
Yes. Yeah, we do.
So we'll just play that right now.
In regards to that, it's just obviously it's a little confusing for everybody, which is why I was seeking clarification on that myself too as well. And that's what was recommended, or not recommended, but that's what was said to me that those were for. So not necessarily applicable to your situation per se, but just generally not meant for that, if you understand what I'm saying.
And so what did that make you feel when you asked for clarification about what's on the fine and that's what you heard?
Yeah, I think it just made it even more confusing because if they don't even know what it is I'm being called to court for, and he was being so unclear even in previous conversations as to what that would look like. Essentially, they made it sound like we will just keep track of how many times we witness you and people in your salon not wearing masks, tally that up, and then present that to the judge in court is what I was told. And then for him to say, actually, this doesn't apply to your situation, but we can remedy that. Like, I guess it's just like, so it's like, we'll find what we can make fit and we'll apply that to you. So it's been a lot, and it just kind of keeps compounding the amount of stress that I'm dealing with. And I never thought I would feel so negatively towards the RCMP in my life. And so it doesn't give you a good feeling that they know even what they're doing or why they're doing it. So
yeah, I mean, it would be nice to know. And this has gone quite a bit further. It's taken some twists and turns that are actually unique as far as British Columbia goes. It seems like there's some things going on. This isn't the only report that you'll see from 100 Mile House from Rebel News, because some light needs to be shined on what's happening here. But it's become to the point now. So she's been fine. We'll talk about that in just a sec. But it's almost wherever you go, pretty much, you have to look over your shoulder. Like you're wanted for robberies in this town or something like that. So tell us a little bit about what's going on with that. Precursor to that, I thought that, again, we were at an understanding point and, they know that I have an exemption. That's how I'm operating my life. And so I went to go skiing with my family over the Christmas holidays. And I knew a girlfriend had been up to our local mountain prior to me who also has an exemption, and she was able to ski. So I didn't think to call ahead. So I just went up. And just so happened there was an off-duty officer in front of me in line. So they sold me my ticket, sold me my rentals, told me to go stand in line. And then a few minutes in, I get told, like, you're going to have to go wait. I think they've called the RCMP. This is going to be a problem, essentially. So long story short, I was refused to go skiing that day with my family. So I had to leave and then come back and pick them up at the end of the day. And then the next day I received a phone call from an officer.
who kept me on the phone for 9 minutes and was incredibly aggressive and horribly unkind with his words to me. And
do you remember the officer's name?
Yeah, it was Brad McKinnon. So yeah, he didn't even give me an opportunity to speak to anything.
Now, Nicole wasn't able to get an audio of that conversation, but we do have Sergeant McKinnon leaving a voicemail about the incident before he was able to get a hold of her.
Ms. Weir, Sergeant McKinnon with the RCMP in 100 Mile. It's about 2 p.m. on Monday, December 28th. Surprise, surprise, but we are getting more complaints about you being non-compliant with your mask, this time at the ski hill. So I wanted to advise you that you will be receiving additional tickets for this, and I'll be over to see you later this week, or I'll be coming up to the ski hill. So just be prepared, because I'll be finding you. So if you have any questions, you can call me, 250-395-2456. The time for education has come and gone. So from this point forward, you can expect to be fined or summoned for court moving forward. Thank you.
So this was as a result of an incident where I went to go skiing personally, and in this conversation was told, for one, that the ski hill would be suing me for damages, as they had to shut down the lodge and sanitize it, where I had offered several times to go wait outside. Like, I'm reasonable, I'm kind, like, I don't want to create a problem.
But just to clarify something, the ski resort let you in without a mask, right? Or did you barge your way through? Or
They let me in, and then they accepted what I offered as my exemption, and they sold me my ticket. And then after that had happened, I believe, under the guidance of the off-duty officer, then said, oh, now this is going to be a problem.
Okay, and so those tickets, the fines, that's where they come in. And I mean, that's interesting to me. So the ski lodge lets you in, everything's fine. You notice this is a small town, so you recognize an RCMP officer shortly after that. We don't know what happened, but shortly after that, all of a sudden it's not fine. They sold you a ticket, and all of a sudden you're getting threatened to be sued and all of these things. But it hasn't, it's gone past there. There's other areas, correct? Where you've gone. Did you go to a gym or something like that? I think
Well, that was in the same conversation with this officer. He essentially said that my exemption isn't valid. He's like, if you can go to a fitness class like you did this morning. So that morning I'd been to a class at 6:30. It was only 8:30 in the morning. So he's like, if you can attend a fitness class and exercise to the level of intensity that you did today, then there's no reason you shouldn't be able to wear a mask. To which I responded, well, mine is not a medical condition. There are other conditions which allow for exemptions. And mine certainly falls into one of those categories.
Well, not to mention that, when did this officer get his medical degree? Did it just, I don't know, maybe he has one. I don't know. We'll have to look into that. But he's telling that if you can work here or you can exercise here, that proves you don't have a medical mask exemption. And for those of you who don't know, maybe you're not in British Columbia, the ministerial order for face coverings here is very clear that there are a lot of reasons people are mask exempt. It could be your age. In BC, maybe you're 11 years old or younger, you don't have to wear a mask. Maybe you're unable to put a mask on yourself physically, or it could be psychological, it could be behavioral. These are all things that people can't always see, including police officers. And nowhere in the order does it say that the exemption has to be signed off by a physician. And who knows yourself better than yourself? So there's a lot going on here, and we're happy to lock arms with you. I know that this has been distressful for you and your family. I mean, you're welcome to touch on what it's been like trying to make your business survive and also looking over your shoulder. Maybe if you want to tell us a little bit about that.
Well, like this evening, I was doing cleanup in the salon, and I left with my husband, and there was an unmarked officer sitting out in the parking lot with his lights shining in and just watching me. So I don't know if there's anything more uncomfortable than feeling like you're being watched all the time. Like, I don't know if I want to put
Especially
on
as a woman
or go cry. Like,
right.
It feels so violating, and by the people who are supposed to be protecting you. Like, yeah, that there shouldn't be feelings that coincide with what I associate to be the RCMP. Like, I've never been afraid to be in my salon at night in 15 years. And now I am because of the RCMP. Like, that's insane to me.
And it's a good point. And just like you said here, you never thought you would be saying these things about the RCMP. And we at Rebel News, we respect a lot of what the Blue has done to serve and protect us. And we know that there are a lot of people on the Blue who are not happy with what's happening to you. And we hope that this town will start using their discretion, because light will continue to be shined here. And Rebel News was very outspoken in, just saying how good the officers have been very recently. So thank you so much for reaching out for us. And if you want to be a part of fighting the good fight for Nicole and others just like her, head to fightthefines.com. I reached out to 100 Mile RCMP. I wanted to give them a chance to explain their side of the story, but also was looking to get some answers to a few questions. Nicole was issued a promise to appear even before getting a fine, but exactly what order has she been accused of failing to comply with? As you can see, there is a Section 1 cited as the relative act, yet there is no Section 1 in BC signed ministerial order on use of face coverings in indoor public spaces. And also, who is giving the RCMP in 100 Mile House the direction to inconvenience people who are medically exempt from wearing a mask by stressing them out with fines and having them appear in court? I haven't heard back from 100 Mile RCMP, but if I do in a timely manner, you can check for their statement in the written article of this report at rebelnews.com. Well, Rebel supporters, I wish I could say I think this is going to be the last of such outrageous reports from people in authority during a very challenging time for all Canadians. But I don't think it is going to be unless we start holding some of these people accountable. If you want to help us do that, one great way is to head to fightthefines.com. You can donate there, whatever you see fit, to arm our assembly of lawyers to help the hundreds of cases we've already taken and the future ones that we will be taking. We appreciate your support.